and roll may live forever, but we only retire once. Kevin Lamour of Our Financial Plans and Quadris Investment Services offers a large range of financial solutions from some of the biggest leaders in the investment and insurance landscape of Canada. See how a solid financial plan built with friendly and professional advice can help. Find out more at ourfinancialplans.ca or give them a call at 705-949-1316. Welcome to another episode of the Lonesome Cowboy Podcast. I don't think she's a cowboy, but she's dabbling in that country field anyways. And today is the multi-talented award-winning Bree Taylor. Hi, Bree. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. So, Bree, I was reading your bio and I said, tell me about this genre-defying path that you are forging and how is it different now from what's out there right now?
Well, I kind of grew up listening to so many different genres of music that always in my career as an artist and my journey doing my original music, I've been told that I never really fit into one genre specifically. And I've kind of had a journey dabbling through all of that, and getting into country music always felt almost like something I wasn't able to get involved in because I never felt like I was your typical country girl, and I really am not your typical country girl. And
Okay.
I kind of am just trying to defy the odds of what that really means, because I feel like it's where there needs to be more representation in country, and especially with the women, because I feel like I never saw a representation of myself, and that's kind of why I steered clear of country music for so long. So blending in a little more of like my rocker punk rock roots into country music has felt really authentic. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what I've been doing, is just kind of playing with the sounds and blending genres and bending the rules and not really playing by any rules, to be honest, and just kind of doing my own thing and being me. And it's been going really well. So we're just going to keep going.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Um, so let's get our blood up right off the bat. Today's pop country is getting kind of a bad rap. Um, because
Oh, is
people,
it?
well, yeah, they're saying it's not country.
Okay.
And you see, and this is coming from a guy like me who plays his music with just an acoustic guitar, and if it's got more than four chords, I don't play it. What are your thoughts on those comments that pop country, it's not country, it's not it's pop music, and the CCMAs and guys like Alan Jackson are walking out on Beyonce and all the rest, and there's a little part of me that just goes, yeah. But I mean, so let me hear your thoughts.
I mean, I've definitely gotten some similar feedback more with the rock country side that I've been doing. I did a festival out in Saskatchewan end of June, and a little bit of the feedback from people out there was either they loved it or they were kind of like, I don't really like this rock country thing. And I get where people are coming from if you're a traditional country fan, but I think we're in a day and age where there's so much opportunity with bending genres in, like, we can blend so many different sounds and create a subgenre. I think that's like rock and roll. Rock and roll isn't one type of music. There's so many subgenres of rock,
Yeah.
right? So if you look at country, as you know, there have been some, bluegrass and different kinds of like subgenres of country music. I think we're just expanding what those subgenres look like and playing with different sounds and things like that. I do get what, like, if that's what you like to listen to, then listen to that. I think there's so much talent out there, and there's so much opportunity to kind of take things by your own, like, just do your thing. and
Yeah.
and I think there's definitely still a fine line between, keeping true to authentic country elements while you're doing that. And I can see that can get blended and blurred a little bit with some fans or feedback on things. But I'm a big advocate for just be yourself and be authentic in what you're doing. So if it feels right, then go ahead and do it. And the fans really will always respond to authenticity or not, and spot if it's real or if it isn't. So I think that's more where maybe the negative feedback is coming from about that. I'm not too sure. I kind of don't really know I don't have the answer.
Well, that's good. It doesn't matter if no one has the answer. Let's put it that way. You've done some work down in Nashville, and was that recently or?
I've been traveling to Nashville for a long time, and I've been
Uh-huh.
working with my team down there for producing and writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I go down maybe 3, 4 times a year, and I do little trips down when I have to. But I was just down there recently playing CMA Fest actually in the beginning of June. So that
Cool.
was a really awesome opportunity, and to me shows that the CMAs, if somewhere in America and like as big as somewhere like Nashville, is embracing those different unique sounds in country, where I'm not your typical country girl or artist. I'm not what people typically would see or what the
Sure.
industry per se is put out there. I
Yeah.
think it really speaks volumes, that things are kind of opening arms up to those different subgenres and different sounds and different people that are not that typical person in the country scene.
And so with the political climate the way it is right now, going into the United States, are you nervous?
Not at all. I've never had any issues entering into America. I've never had any issues when I've been in America. I have a lot of American friends. They're all really lovely, wonderful people. I think that it's a lot of news hype. I think that the media does a really good job at getting people to think one thing and be scared and feel certain things. And I think life is what you make of it, and what you attract into your life is what you put back out there. So
Hmm.
I go in and I always like treat people with kindness, and I feel like you get that back. And if you don't, then you just steer clear of them. And yeah, I don't have any fear. I don't live my life in fear.
That's cool. Good to know. And as far as the, I'm not even going to go in that question, that direction. How's that? Um, so the music biz, that seems not to care too much for artists when, you hear about the like Chapel Roan when she had her Grammy acceptance thing. She
Mhm.
called them out, which I thought was fantastic. Um, so and I think a lot of them view artists as a means to an end. Um, if you were approached by a major label, um, would you take it, knowing what their contracts can be like?
Well, I think that's kind of hard to say without having had that contract offered or like being able to sleuth through what it would say. I
Sure.
definitely think that there's something to be said about staying independent as long as possible and really building your brand into what is your own self and authentic sound and image and all of those things. So for me, if it was like, hey, we need you to change XYZ entirely and it didn't feel right, then obviously no, I wouldn't accept
Hmm.
involved in something like that. I feel like I'm finally at a point in my career where I really know who I am as an artist and what I have to say, and what I've built is just done really well for me, and I feel like is the most authentic art that I've been creating yet in my career, and I feel really at home where I'm at currently. So it would have to be an offer that was embracing what I'm doing and working and supporting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I have some friends that I'm really good friends with Ali Walker, and I've definitely heard some of the ups and downs of the journey and the chaos that life brings once you kind of are signed to that major label deal. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be. So, just, yeah, I think it's a case by case basis. You just got to do what feels right to you.
Yeah, there you go. And that's great. In your bio, it says that you're um, sorry, I read that question to you already. I can't even read my own handwriting nowadays.
That's okay.
There's one I wanted to ask you because I am a musician who wears hearing aids. And you have something in your bio that says you had a bit of a challenge with hearing impairment. So I'm curious to ask what that was and how you came about overcoming all that.
Well, I wear hearing aids on a day-to-day basis. I'm
Cool.
a hearing impaired artist and singer, so it's something that I have to live with every single day of my life. And it's been a journey since childhood. Unfortunately, I had a lot of bad surgeries done on me when I was a kid that led to too much scar tissue buildup. And there was a point where my specialist, once I got into his hands, he was able to tell me, like, if we do more surgeries, the risk of you losing your hearing is really high entirely, versus if we just fit you in hearing aids, we'll do the best we can to help you adapt and learn to live with this, and continue to try to attempt to have a career in music. But they definitely told me that having a career in music was going to be really, really difficult, if not potentially impossible. But they aren't in the music industry to really say that definitively. But I really am somebody that doesn't take a no for an answer, and I'm not somebody who's built my life based on being told that you can't do something. So if someone says I can't, I try to prove them wrong. So
Mm,
I feel like everything that I've accomplished in my career is just living proof that you can do anything you put your mind to. And if you work hard and you believe in yourself and you continue to just grind and work towards your goals, that you can achieve anything, and you can't just let whatever the cards that have been dealt to you define you or tell you that this is your reality. It's, whatever life throws at you is not necessarily your day to day. You can definitely overcome anything and
Sure.
push through.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's like the old saying, adapt and overcome.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. And my other one is the caution of wear your hearing protection, people, especially if you're in a band with amps.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I've been trying to bring more awareness to with what I've been doing, because I don't have hearing loss that's from not wearing hearing protection. And that usually comes more with age. A lot of people have degenerative hearing loss, and you could definitely have hearing damage at any age if you're not wearing that hearing protection. But because mine is an actual like hearing disability that happened from a lot of complications and inner ear issues that are just way too complex to get into. But
Sure.
I'm not a typical case, so people don't always assume or know that I'm a hearing impaired person. So it's just bringing more awareness to like, people walk around with disabilities every day that you can't see necessarily. So just to be living your life with kindness.
Yeah. You work with a lot of co-writers, I see, also. Um, is that something you prefer doing, Bree, or is it songwriting a solitary affair for you?
I mean, it's both. I obviously started out with just being a solitary writer early in my career and in my youth. I've been writing songs since I was a little kid.
Sure.
But really, the Nashville way and the way that the country scene specifically is the co-writings. So that was something that I had to navigate earlier on in my career to start to feel comfortable doing, because it was very new and weird to me at the beginning to kind of expose yourself so vulnerably to people in a room with, that you may have just met in that right or you didn't know prior. So it's kind of just become second nature at this point, and it's just something that really feels right to me, is to work with like the team that I have, because they've really helped me to be able to execute the songs that I'm wanting to write, and what the ideas that I bring to them, and all of that really well, and bring them. They I feel like co-writing is a great thing because they can bring other elements to the right, or perspectives or ways of saying something that you wouldn't otherwise say it in a more clever way, or whatever that might be. And I just think that co-writing has been such a good way to challenge me as a writer myself, and just to bring such a cool different like variety to a writing session.
Yeah. Is it just I think it can get kind of crazy when you got two or three people, and is it just so far been two of you? Or have you ever gone into the three or more writers at a time
No,
doing
it's
a
usually
song?
three is usually the minimum that we usually write with. That's
Oh,
kind of
really?
like
Okay.
the really sweet spot for co-writing.
Cool.
I've done four. It's not ideal usually for four for me or more. Like I wouldn't really go that way. Definitely two, you can do it as long as you have like a good writing chemistry. But I feel like usually the sweet spot's a three-way write, which is what a lot of people seem to really like and enjoy these days.
Interesting. So it's almost like you have to have that one extra person to be the tiebreaker on a change or something like that, I guess. Eh?
Sometimes it happens, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Um, this podcast is, of course, for the DIY artists, and a lot of the DIY artists are playing, venues, but maybe not great big venues or big concert type venues. Um, and they're always looking for improvements. In your own experiences, how do you think venues can improve the experience for artists and especially women artists?
Venues, it's hard because it's not necessarily the venues that are really at fault or involved. Like they kind of are just there to to exist and be for you to have your show, right? It's usually more in the hands of the promoter that's booking the show, that is either, not promoting the show properly, or putting together a bill of artists that don't make sense, or, being really clicky with how they build an art, a lineup for a show.
Hmm.
There's all those things that go involved to it. So I don't think it's the venue themselves, unless, I mean, you're booking your own show and doing your own shows at a venue. Having a nice green room is definitely wonderful, especially for female artists, because I specifically like to change into my stage wear. I am not at a point anymore in my career that I just walk up there in jeans and a t-shirt. I know a lot of men do that. But it's not really my vibe. I definitely have a very strict and like very notable brand identity with my visual image and wardrobe on stage. So I usually like to have a space to get ready and change right before I get on stage and have a little area at least for the women, you know. So some venues don't have that. It depends on where you go, but yeah, I just think it's there. I mean, this all about promotion and getting the show promoted and selling those tickets. So the artist has to do a lot of that themselves as well. It's not really always on the promoter or the venue, right? It's a team effort.
Yeah, right on. Um, your family, very supportive of what you're doing, or did you, what was their reaction when you went up to them and said, "Hey, mom and dad, I'm going to do this full time. What do you think?"
I mean, my parents are really supportive. They come to all my shows if they can. My dad literally comes to almost every single show.
Nice.
He was definitely the biggest skeptic for me at the early days in my career when I was a kid, and I'd said this is what I wanted to do. He always said, you know, you got to have a backup plan. You got to be realistic, and had this voice in my head growing up that it was like always my dad's little voice telling me, you know, just in case, you never know. All these like fear-based what if kind of thoughts.
Hmm.
And I really just had to kind of shush the noise a little bit because there's going to always be people in your life that are going to tell you these kinds of things, especially for music, because you just really have to believe in yourself ultimately at the end of the day. And despite all of that, my dad obviously is still really supportive, like I said. So he's, you know, sees that I'm determined and I'm working hard and he sees the success that comes with that. So he's been a big fan ever since, but I definitely went to university and I got a degree just in case, you know, kind of thing. And it's not something I obviously am using on my day-to-day basis right now, but there are a
Yeah,
lot of
right.
skills that I learned that helped me in this industry for sure, especially being an artist that does a lot of things on my own.
Cool.
So going to school and learning a lot of the PR skills that I did and learning, you know, graphic design and web design and all those kinds of things was really helpful.
Excellent. That's outstanding. That's the way to do it. If you're going to get that degree, get one that backs up what you want to do later on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, do you come from a musical family at all? Do your parents play any instruments or anybody else in your family?
No, nobody's musical. I mean, my mom's dad played violin. I've never in my entire life, though, heard him play. He's got it hidden away somewhere. And my dad's father was in sports radio broadcast, more of a radio family and sports family. No, my grandma was in a choir, but that's about it. Like nobody really was instrumental or musical or pursued music. They're just really big fans of music. My mom and dad, I was born to music in the delivery room. So my dad made a mixtape and James
Nice.
Taylor was very prominent on that. So that's kind of how I got my middle name Taylor. And yeah, it's just, yeah, just having a lot of support in musical interests and being surrounded by music growing up.
That's outstanding. Yeah. Well, at least you didn't, your parents didn't do what my mother did when I wanted to pursue art and music and stuff like that. She just flat out said, "No, you can't make a living at that." And I was
Yeah.
told to go to college for something else.
Yeah, it happens. I mean,
It
yeah, everyone's
happens.
going to tell you and have an opinion, right?
Yeah, that's about it. And yeah, it's tough to shush that noise out there. I can tell you that. Um, Inspiration is something that you're very important to you when you're inspiring people. So when it comes to knowing that you want to do that and people might be looking at you for that kind of thing, what are you very conscious of when you know you're trying to provide some kind of inspiration, I guess, for people or as a role model?
I mean, I really don't try at all. Like that's not something I feel like if you're trying, then you're doing something wrong. I think that should
Ah,
come naturally, to be honest. I don't lead out there with what I do to necessarily intend to do anything to anyone in any way. I lead with kindness and I'm just acting as my authentic self at all times.
good for
So
you.
what I put into my art is what is truly my stories, experiences, my heart, my soul, my tears, my blood, my sweat. Like it's like all everything goes into my music. And I mean, I'm very authentic. I'm just me. Like I can't fake anything. So if I'm endorsing a product or talking about something that I really love, that's always going to be genuine and it's not to like influence anybody in any way. But I do hope to inspire people in ways just through acting, through my authentic self and leading by example, I think more than anything. So just hopefully people can pick up on that and see that. But I do definitely think about how my actions can impact others in those ways. And I think the best thing that I've just learned along my journey is to just be myself and then the rest will just follow.
Excellent. That's a great way to live your life in general, I think. There you
Definitely.
go. Well, you look like you're poised, and to me, it looks like you're just right ready. And I think pretty soon we're going to see you in bigger lights, the way your career is looking right now. Anyways, I just
Thank
looked at.
you.
That's when Eric said you want to give her an interview. I went, she doesn't look like she needs me to give her an interview. She looks like she's really got it down. So whatever you're doing it right.
Thank you. Yeah, I've definitely worked really hard, and I just doing it all by myself is a tough journey, but it's definitely, I think, paying off, and that's always a great thing to feel.
That's outstanding. Yeah, I like that. Okay, Bree, tell folks where they can find out about you and your music and your stuff and where you are on the socials and all that fun stuff.
Oh, sorry, I think you froze there for a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I noticed it's doing that a little bit. My internet's going nuts here. Anyways, sorry. Tell the folks where they can find out more about you and your website or socials and all that fun stuff.
Oh my, sorry, you froze again.
Still, it did it. Wow, that's terrible. Let's try that one more time. I'll have to do a lot of editing, I guess. Okay. Tell the folks where they can find out more about you and your music and your socials so they can follow you along.
Yeah, so my website is breetaylor.com. All of my links to my social media are on there, my tour dates, my bio, my web store. If people want to support, buy CD, t-shirt, or vinyl, they can check that out. But I'm most active on Instagram and TikTok. My Instagram and TikTok handle are Bree Taylor Official. So if you want to really get in touch with me or follow along with more of my day-to-day, that's the two spots that are the best to follow me. But yeah, any show dates are posted on the website always and updated. So hopefully you guys can all come out and see some shows before the summer's done.
And speaking of shows, where are you playing in the next little while here where folks can see you?
Tomorrow I'm actually playing at Kempenfest in Barrie, August 2nd. I will be in the town square in Oakville for downtown Oakville's TD Music Concert Series on August 10th. And then I'm playing the Winona Peach Festival just outside in Stony Creek on Saturday, August 23rd. And then on Sunday, the 24th of August, we are at the CNE in Toronto. So we got a 3 hour night for everyone planned. That'll be a nice long party. And we're playing from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. So come on out and have some fun at the CNE. And that's it for the summer until the fall hits and we get some new dates up.
Outstanding. That's a busy time. This sounds like fun. Okay, well, thank you again for coming on, Bree, and wishing you all the best of luck. And we hope folks will follow along and watch your rise.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.